Racing action about to get underway for the third race meeting of the Ultimate Cup Series season. And we're getting things started with the Ultimate GT Sprint Cup, the first race of the weekend, the first of 4 25-minute races for this mix of GT3, GT4, GT Cup, and various other different GT machines that we'll take to the track. We have Amaury Bonduelle in the Mercedes-AMG GT3 starting on pole position, sharing the front row of the grid with the racing spirit of Le Mans Ferrari 488 Challenge, with Kevin Passer taking the wheel of the car for this and the third race of the weekend. You see on the second row of the grid, we also have the Chevrolet and the Lamborghini Super Trofeo. Just a glimpse at the various different cars that we have in this grid. We have 10 different marques represented on this grid amongst the 18 cars across 6 different classes. And as you can see, 4 minutes left until we go green for the first race of the day. We'll have races 2, 3 and 4 tomorrow morning and afternoon. We're here in Hockenheim for the first time this season. There we see this on the second row of the grid, the Chevrolet Corvette of Olivier Morahan and Alfredo Hernandez's Lamborghini Super Trofeo. And it was the UCS2 class pole position for Alfredo Hernandez, his direct rival, starting right behind him on the grid, which is Eric Mouet in the Ginetta GTX number 12 machine from CMR. Just on the row behind him. The grid will be cleared shortly. But Amaury Bonduelle wasting no time in getting himself to the front of the field in what we believe is his GT3 debut. Probably the fastest driver in Lamborghini Super Trofeo machinery as it stands, competing in the European series, has scored every pole position so far and won 3 races as well. So it's going very well in what is his second year of Super Trofeo Europe, having switched over from single-seater racing. Of course, no stranger to the Ultimate Cup paddock, having won the Monoplace Championship back in 2019 with Lamo Racing, and then finding a home in Super Trofeo, but now looking for a step up into GT3 competition. In the BDR competition Mercedes. First time we've seen the Mercedes GT3 out in the championship so far this year. We've seen the Ferrari 488 GT3. We've got the Chevrolet, of course, but haven't seen the Mercedes out yet as the grid is cleared. Kevin Passer as well. Slightly a new face for this season. Has raced in the Ultimate Cup before last year, but in a Porsche. Having started his racing career in the Lamera Cup, racing his own car a few years ago. So it should be an interesting matchup compared to the UCS2 and the other UCS3 cars behind him. His nearest class rival is in 5th position. We'll run down the grid in 4 a little bit later on. Of course, we also have the Porsche Cup cars. Top of them is Cesar van der Westen in 9th position, amongst the GT4 cars as well. We have quite a nice mix of the Audis, the Aston Martins, and the Ginetta G50 as well. And we also have the Ligier JS2R out in the UCS Light category as well. Pegasus Racing returning to the paddock. Having helped develop the JS49 for Ligier. They've had very close ties with that manufacturer since then. One of the first teams to get JS2R back in 2019, of course. So could well be seeing Pegasus reuniting with the Ligier brand. Of course, they've just unveiled their LMP3 car for 2025. Maybe we'll see them out in a prototype field once again. As we have the 1 minute board there. Safety car will lead them on the formation lap. So it will be Amaury Bonduelle starting on pole position in the BDR competition Grupo Prom Mercedes-AMG GT3. That's the gold car on the left-hand side. Alongside him on the front row of the grid is the UCS3 pole sitter Kevin Passer in the racing spirit of Le Mans Ferrari 488 Challenge. Second row of the grid is our other GT3 car, the Chevrolet Corvette of Olivier Morahan from JRM Racing. And then the UCS2 pole sitter, that's the Super Trofeo class, is Alfredo Hernandez in the 77 BDR competition car. Third row of the grid is Lorenzo Montiero from SR&R. That's the 333 Ferrari, second in his class. And then the other UCS2 car, as the formation lap gets underway, is the Ginetta GTX. That's the development car from Ginetta, still using the Ultimate Cup as a great platform to develop their machinery. They were also doing some development on their LMP3 car in preparation for next year's homologation cycle. But also working on the GTX, a step beyond their GT4 car. So Eric Mouet going from 6th position. Solon Amrouche in the Vortex. That car gets included in UCS3. She goes from 7th position, ahead of the second of the SR&R Ferraris, Francesco Quassan. And then Cesar van der Westen on the Porsche Cup pole position, ahead of Patrick Michelier. That's the CMR Ferrari 488 Challenge. That's the top 10. Badouin Detou starts on the UCS4 pole position, which is for GT4 cars, and that's the Racing Spirit of Le Mans Aston Martin GT4 Evo. Then Jeremy Falligand. Now there might be a gap on the grid there. Didn't actually quite see. Hopefully we'll see in the background. That car had a shunt and brought out the red flags in qualifying. Quite a big one though. So we'll see if Jeremy's been able to take up his position of 12th. Championship leader in his class, and yeah, we can see actually he's not on the grid, so there'll be a gap in 12th position there. It's Philippe Thalamy in the number 300 speed car Audi R8. Jean-Pierre Ancelin in the 417 2B Autosport Porsche also had his own dramas in qualifying with a spin at turn number 12. Then we get into the UCS Light category. So it's the number 29 Pegasus Racing Ligier Christophe Weber starting on pole, just ahead of Jules Doncieux in the drive-in midget Super T. And then at the back of the grid, Pierre Arroux in the Audi R8 GT4 from Herrera Racing. And then Francois Denis, who did not set a time in qualifying and doesn't seem like he's going to be joining us on the grid there either, actually. So I think we're down to 16 for race number 1 this afternoon. As we go into the 2x2 formation. Something to look out for here is that the Ferrari 488 Challenge may be a lower class of car, but should, in theory, have actually more power than the Mercedes it's starting alongside, as does the Super Trofeo starting in 4th position. And it wouldn't be the first time we've seen the GT3 cars beaten to the first corner, but it is a bit of a shorter run into the first corner than we have seen compared to Le Castellet and Portimao, where we have run so far this season. But the third meeting of the Ultimate Cup Series season in 2024 gets going with the Ultimate GT Sprint Cup, and Amaury Bonduelle leads the field away into the first corner. Olivier Morahan trying to get up the inside into the first corner, but actually ends up losing a spot. Alfredo Hernandez taking advantage of that as Morahan tried to get up the inside of Frederic Lacour, and we have yellow flags out already by the looks of it, but they are very quickly cleared. Amaury Bonduelle leads the field, coming down to the Parabolica for the first time. And yeah, it's saying Frederic Lacour on the timing screen, but it should be Kevin Passer at the wheel of that car. So hopefully that gets updated shortly. I believe it is Kevin. Because he qualified in race number 1. Hopefully that updates shortly. But there, Alfredo Hernandez, we can see getting up into 3rd position. We can see car number 95 spun at turn 1. That's Solon Amrouche in the Vortex. So she's had a rotation at the first corner, the Nord Curve, unfortunately, and is circulating at the back of the field. So a lot of work to do for Solon, having started in 7th position. As we see Alfredo Hernandez on the back of the Racing Spirit of Le Mans Ferrari for second position. Olivier Morahan there in fourth. Just behind them, Lorenzo Monteiro, second in his class, and Eric Mouet not far behind as well. As they complete the first lap, 8.3 seconds is Anne-Marie Bonduel's advantage over Kevin Passer. Timing screen has now updated. And then we see the Ginetta in the back of the black car. And there's Solanam Rouge. So she has started to make up ground already, is in 12th position. So in the end has only lost 5 positions. As we are on the second lap, can confirm Jeremy Falligan did not get going, but Francois Denis did actually, and has already gotten ahead of Pierre Aru. So third in his class as Solanam Rouge here rounds up the midget Super T in front of her going into the hairpin. So that is Jules Doncio that she has just dispatched for 11th position. Then we can see the midget rounding the what used to be called the Mercedes-Benz Arena into the stadium section, the older part of the circuit. Alfredo Hernandez has gotten himself up into second position, so the former Super Trofeo racer now ahead of the Ferrari Challenge car and into second place, just as Olivier Morahan is joining the fight as well. Mexican up into second, and immediately into third position, Olivier Morahan using the speed advantage of the Chevrolet GT3. And actually, it is because the Racing Spirit of Le Mans car, Kevin Passer, has a problem. Now, that left rear tyre look a little low. Did look a little flat as he came out of turn one, but definitely problems for the Racing Spirit of Le Mans Ferrari that started on the front row of the grid. Has hit trouble. There was smoke coming out of the back of it. Maybe a suspension issue. No, right rear puncture, excuse me, rather than left rear. But yeah, so now we can definitely see the cause of Kevin Passer's problems here, and taking a bit of inspiration from Louis Rossi's avoidance tactics when he had a puncture in the LMP3, well, in the Nova, I should say, in the Portimao a few weeks ago. But yes, you can see very clearly the puncture there for the Racing Spirit of Le Mans car, and that is well, going to leave it absolutely plumb last, unfortunately. Anne-Marie Bondil stretching his legs at the front of the field. 15 seconds was his advantage at the start of the lap. I imagine it'll be quite a wait for Alfredo Hernandez to come across the timing line. Anne-Marie Bonduel. Bonduel racing at BDR competition and Grupo Prom joining forces there for Anne-Marie, the Belgian-born Frenchman, 25 years old. He made his switch from single-seater racing over to GTs a couple of years ago. So this is Cesar van der Westen, the Porsche Cup leader, looking at the back of Francesco Croissant for 6th position overall. And yes, running in different categories, but we have seen the Porsche Cup machinery and the Ferrari Challenge cars can run somewhat evenly on various different circuits in other series. Ferrari does have quite a bit of advantage in terms of its straight line speed, but the Porsche rather good in the corners, as we've seen. And there's Solanam Rouge. She's made fantastic progress through the field, already up into 8th position, so very nearly back to where she started, as poor Kevin Passer is still making his way back to pit lane. He's only just entered the stadium section. And he'll be coming around the Sachs curve there. Hazard's flashing. He's been lapped there by Alfredo Hernandez. So now very much a lap down. So, yeah, it will be Frederic Lacour in the car for race number 2. Yeah, we have most of the drivers running solo, but a few people sharing the cars, which it's not like in other GT series like SRO competition, for example, where you have a mid-race pit stop and do a driver swap. You share the car across the 4 races. So that's why we have 2 qualifying sessions. It's one sets the grid for races 1 and 3, the other for races 2 and 4. We'll split the driving between them. But finally into pit lane is Kevin Passer. And yeah, just not the start to the weekend he would have hoped for. Man from Lyon. As we mentioned earlier, was competing in a Porsche last year. Recently in the Corsica Rally as well. Was experiencing the JS2R. So I'm wondering if that was potential contact when Alfredo Hernandez made his way past, because we didn't see the pass, I don't think. So this is Philippe Thalamy looking at the back of Jean-Pierre Ancelin in 12th position. So that is that second of the UCS 4 runners looking at the Porsche Cup car. And I think Christoph Weber has had some sort of drama as well, because he's dropped right to the back of the field as well in the Pegasus Racing Ligier JS2R. But, wow. Racing Spirit of Le Mans not in any great hurry to get that car back on the road, because, well, they know they have absolutely nothing to gain for it at this point. But Patrick Barbier there, head honcho of the Racing Spirit of Le Mans team. I saw him earlier getting his hands dirty himself, getting right into the thick of the action. And if you don't watch prototype racing on the regs, then you might not know that Le Mans is it's not Le Mans as in the legendary 24-hour race. It's Le Mans, the district in Switzerland where the team is based. There's also a great big lake there, Le Mans Lake, as well, and it's Leman, no S, and one word as well. So that's where that comes from. Right, Eric Mouet there in the black and orange Ginetta, second there, as we just the tyre changed on the Racing Spirit of Le Mans Ferrari, ready to head back out. Fresh Goodyear rubber on the right rear corner. We saw Eric Mouet looking at the back of Lorenzo Monteiro for 4th position. So the Ginetta GTX car going up against the Ferrari for a challenge car. Now that was another car in the pits, wasn't it? That we just saw go past. And yes, yes, it is. It's Amory Bonduel. Amory Bonduel driving through pit lane. Now that might be related to the grading, because we have often see success penalties for silver graded drivers, and Bonduel is most definitely one of them. Still come out quite comfortably in the lead. Had a 38-second advantage when he came over the timing line. So Bonduel leading, but the battle for 4th is really the closest on track at the moment. Only a few tenths of a second separating Lorenzo Montiera and Eric Mouet. The 333 Ferrari and the number 12 Ginetta. Now that Aston Martin had some damage at the back of it there, did it not? The UCS4 race leader, Baudouin de Two, in the other Racing Spirit of Le Mans car, did seem to have quite a bit of damage on the rear end there. So I wonder what's caused that. We're coming up to half race distance. And I wonder if Eric Mouet is any closer to putting a pass on Lorenzo Montiero. See how the Ferrari 488 challenge being challenged by the Ginetta slightly further up the field. Jean-Pierre Asselin and Philippe Thalamy. So, second of the Porsche Cup runners and second of the UCS4 runners. Was down to 2 in Porsche Cup now with the non-start for Jeremy Falligand. Porsche Cup class leader going into this weekend, so that's going to turn the championship tables on its head. You see the speed car, 2 of these Audi R8 GT4, so a bit more of the 5.2 litre V10 that we get to enjoy. Of course, similar engine to, well, same base, not the engine that we get to hear in the Lamborghini Super Trofeo car as well. And Eric Mouet has passed Lorenzo Montiero, so he's up into 4th position. So the UCS2 car clearing the Ferrari Challenge car into the top 4. Race leader just going around the GT4 and the 2 GT4 cars there, I think it is. It's the yes, Pierre Aru and Francois Denis. That is. So that's 3rd and 4th in the UCS4 cars. And 14th and 15th overall. As Solon and Rougier is caught onto the back of Cesar van der Westin as well, the Porsche Cup leader, so the Vortex running very nicely here. That car that spun and rejoined on the first lap, but Solon's done a fantastic job catching up to where she almost to where she started. She started in 7th. She's currently 8th, but on the back of the car ahead, which is Cesar van der Westin, the former Roscar GT Challenge racer, showing the car with his brother, Carl, who was twice champion in that series. So Ambrouge, the French racer, whose career was inspired by the Iron Dame Karen Gaillard, who's also racing here this weekend in the European Prototype Endurance Cup. And you see the 2 very, very different class of car. Here, as Van der Westin goes a little wide in the Sachs curve, but you see the Vortex there. It's a what you would normally call a GTX level machine. You might be familiar with it if you see the Creventic 24-hour series. This is the first edition of the Vortex. We do have the its successor, the 2.0, racing in the GT Endurance Cup on Sunday. This is the 1.0 So it's still powered by the 6.2 litre V8, but it is 120 kilograms heavier than its successor. And very different in terms of the suspension kinematics. But Amrouche going down the inside on the Porsche Cup car of Cesar van der Westen, who does not take it lying down and tries to stand his ground up on the inside. But Amrouche has got the momentum and down the straight pulls clear and up into 7th position. So she's back to where she started the race. Look at the speed of the Porsche Cup car, though. So Van der Westen coming back, and there was just about a gap on the inside there going into the hairpin. And Van der Westen takes it and reclaims that 7th spot. Amrouche tried to get the up and under there. Didn't quite have the momentum. So the Porsche Cup car really holding its own on the straight, and another dive on the inside here from Amrouche into turn number 8. Side by side here through the kinks of 9 and 10. Van der Westen still hangs on, just about. Great little dice here for at 7th position overall. 7.5 minutes left on the clock, and Amrouche doing her absolute best to try and usurp the former Roscar GT Challenge racer. Of course, he'll be out in the GT Endurance Cup race as well, alongside his brother. Oh, a tight line there, tried to get up the inside into the penultimate corner. They just lost a little bit of ground and momentum with that, though, and so has to gather the car back up. That very distinctive-looking Vortex machine. Instantly a fan favourite. And now we're going to have a little bit of traffic coming into play here as well, because we've got the Pegasus Racing Ligier not too far up the road. And there was contact between them into turn 2, though. So Cesar van der Westen round, yellow flags waving, and Amrouche continues on. I must confess, my eyes had glanced to to one of the other screens, so I didn't see what initiated that. But van der Westen has managed to get it pointing in the right direction again, at least, and we have green flags waving once again at turn number 2. But big dramas here for Solène Amrouche. That contact has left its mark on her front right. It seems like the bodywork is scraping up against the tyre, unfortunately, and that could cause problems, especially at high speed. Look, you see the smoke pouring off there, and it could puncture the front right tyre if it gets too much. She's run off the road at turn 7. Also into pit lane has come our UCS4 race leader, Baudouin Detou, the Racing Spirit of Le Mans car. So we'll see what's going on there. We see Amrouche continuing on. And here we're going to see the contact again. So a dive from the inside from Amrouche. Van der Westen turns in. And yeah, Van der Westen goes round. So this is one of the cars that were trying to chase up the road, Lorenzo Montiero, there. And so we still have Detou in the pit lane. And so just wondering what that is about. Maybe it's related to the bodywork damage we saw on the car earlier. So we did see it was scraping around a little bit of cosmetic damage. Less than 5 minutes left on the clock. And 49 seconds is Amaury Bonduel's advantage. There we can see in pit lane the Racing Spirit of Le Mans Aston Martin, and it is the damage on the back end of it that seems to have prompted it to come into pit lane. So that car was leading the UCS4 category. In fact, still is, technically, because Philippe Dallamy has not actually gone across the line yet, though I believe he's about to in about 20 seconds' time. And so we can see a battle between the two of the other UCS4 cars, Pierre Aru and Francois Denis. Denis, who did not set a time in qualifying, and they've got the the faster traffic coming through as well. Francois Denis on the inside. See the Ginettas' nose dip down there as he braked for the Nord curve. Did he manage to take third position in his class? Indeed he did, away from Pierre Aru. Olivier Morahan there, third overall, trying to clear the traffic as well. But that is the speed car Ginetta G50 that has managed to clear, and should now actually be in second position amongst the UCS4 runners, with the demise of Baudouin Detou, who is still in pit lane. As is Kevin Parser, actually. I don't think he ever made it back out onto the track. So really unfortunate day for the Racing Spirit of Le Mans team. Both their cars facing dramas. One with a right rear puncture, another with bodywork damage, and seemingly having to come into the pits. The contact between Solan Amrouche and Cesar van der Westen is under investigation, by the way. So we'll see if that has any repercussions for the grid for race number 2. Which is due to start at noon tomorrow. Olivier Morahan in the Chevrolet Corvette GT3, third position, chasing the back of Alfredo Hernandez. And 2 minutes left on the clock, so we should be on our penultimate lap now, or the race leader will be anyway. And well, I can tell you right now that there won't be any repercussions for Solan Amrouche in race 2, because she's got them here. 10-second time penalty for causing a collision with Cesar van der Westen. So she is currently in 8th position. In fact, I just lost the place to Cesar van der Westen, actually. So that we saw she was carrying damage on the front right corner. So not only is she sort of limping home, she's got to take 10 seconds on top of it as well. So we'll see where she ends up. She's currently lapping above 2 minutes, so a good 10 seconds or so slower than the cars behind her. So she could well finish, well outside the top 10 at this rate. Amaury Bonduel on to what should be his last lap of the race. And a minute clear of Alfredo Hernandez behind him. Has been untroubled. So obviously, the biggest drama for the GT3 cars usually at the start, because the Super Trofeo cars and the Ferrari Challengers do actually have a bit more power than the standard GT3 cars. But he was off and away. And it should be pole position in all 4 races for Amaury Bonduel, making the step up from Super Trofeo machinery across Europe into this Mercedes-AMG GT3 car. And so rounds the Sachs curve for the final time. And on his return to the Ultimate Cup paddock, it is going to be victory for Amaury Bonduel in the BDR competition Grupo Prom Mercedes AMG GT3 in race 1 of the Ultimate GT Sprint Cup. It's going to be a long old wait for Alfredo Hernandez to come across the timing line in the end, because he was over a minute behind. So Cesar van der Westen has come across the line to take the Porsche Cup victory in 7th position overall. Christoph Weber behind him, also across the line in the Pegasus Racing Ligier, second in his class, and actually sadly last of the remaining runners. Here is Alfredo Hernandez just making his way into the stadium section. That's how far ahead Amaury Bonduel has been. The former Super Trofeo racer on his way to the checkered flag. Around the final corner will be another podium finish for Alfredo Hernandez, and takes second position overall and the UCS 2 victory. Does the Mexican. Olivier Morahan at third overall and second of the UCS 1 runners. Across the line as well is our UCS 4 winner, Philippe Thalamy, in the speed car Audi R8 GT4. And our UCS 3 winner is Lorenzo Montiero in the 333 SR&R Ferrari 488 Challenge. 7 seconds ahead of Francesco Quasan in the sister SR&R car. And so the Racing Spirit of Le Mans team's demise is SR&R's gain. 1-2 in their class, with Patrick Michelier in the 73 CMR car completing the podium in that category. UCS Light also going to Jules Doncio after seemingly issues for Christoph Weber. Solon Am Rouge across the line 9th in the end. Behind Patrick Michelier and off the UCS 3 podium. She was right up there until the contact with Cesar van der Westin that took her out of the running. Amory Bonduel, meanwhile, is making his way into pit lane towards Parc Fermé, where hopefully Claire will be able to meet him. Have a word as well. Bonduel into pit lane, into Parc Fermé, I should say. That spectacular gold liveried Mercedes AMG GT3, which is really a thing of beauty. The other class winners and podium finishers have to come into Parc Fermé as well, which is the majority of the field. Shaking hands there with the BDR competition team. So it's Amory Bonduel on top, Alfredo Hernandez in second, Olivier Morahan in third position. Alfredo Hernandez just joining them in Parc Fermé there now. So there's a bit of a queue forming for Parc Fermé. The mid-jet there as well. Always great to see the mid-jet cars in this championship. Now there's something you don't often see. Racing car with its reverse lights on as Alfredo Hernandez. It's a BDR competition 1-2. Despite their separate classes, the two BDR competition cars, the Mercedes MG and the Lamborghini Super Trofeo, 1-2. That's what I call a good day in the office. Hernandez started in 4th position. And got the jump on Kevin Parser and Olivier Morahan off the line. So yeah, that 9mm sponsorship. We'll see that on the podium as well. It was down in Parc Fermé. See the having to get the pit lane cleared for the Formula Cup cars that are about to go out as well. So hopefully we should have Claire ready downstairs in pit lane, who is with our race winner. Hopefully we'll be able to go to Claire shortly.
Down here with the winner, congratulations. I mean, this track is amazing anyway, but you commanded that, didn't you? Congratulations.
Thank you. It's my first time on the GT3 this weekend. I love the car. It's easy to drive. We have to improve a little bit the setup for more because we have a lot of degradation on the tire. But I'm fine.
Was tyre deg the main issue for you today?
Sorry?
Was the tyre deg the main issue? Is that the only thing you're going to be changing overnight, looking at that setup?
We try a different camber on the car to manage the tire for the race too, because we have to drive 2 races with the same tire.
Okay, well, congratulations. I feel like the party has started for you already with this music, so go and enjoy it. Congratulations. Right, we've got plenty of racing still to come. The Formula Cup is coming up next, so make sure you stay with us.